Welcome, listeners. We are here again with Sonali on our third and final episode of this series where Sonali shares her pearls of wisdom with all of us. And today we will be talking on a very important topic that how has yoga impacted Sonali in her own well-being and how it can help us as well. So, welcome to our podcast and let's understand how yoga can transform our overall being, soul, and mind. So, Sonali,
Yeah.
let's start with the questions right away. And the very first question I have for you today is that yoga is described as a holistic practice. We all talk about Adi Yogi, we talk about how yoga helps us achieve that balance between mind, body, and soul. Why don't you share instances from your personal journey, how it has enhanced you as an individual? What was the instances that introduced yoga to you, and how has the journey been for you since then?
Absolutely. So my journey began with yoga 3 years before. 3 years back then. But I was a regular practitioner of yoga. Say about, I would say 8 to 9 years that I'm a regular practitioner. But I became a teacher 3 years before. So in that whole journey, I had actually damaged myself and I had healed myself through yoga. So basically, I would say it's a very twisty journey that I had, and it showed me that yes, yoga can do it. I would suggest everyone that the ancient wisdom of yoga is a must try for everyone. It's not the gym only that shows you, it's just the outer appearance that gym would focus on, but inner journey where you want to transform yourself is with yoga.
Even in the first episode, you touched upon these points, how yoga helped you evolve and combat and win over the medical conditions you were going through. And in the first episode, you mentioned about Iyengar yoga, and me also, though being in this journey of wellness and enabling wellness for our listeners, I've heard that different forms of yoga every day. कभी कोई hatha yoga की बात करता है, कभी कोई vinyasa yoga की बात करता है, and I just keep hearing different names every now and then, and it really confuses me. So can you help us understand कितनी forms होती हैं and कौन सी prominent forms हैं और हर form का क्या importance है, and मैं अपने लिए कौन सी योगा सेलेक्ट करूं? मतलब कि मेरे तो योगा का मतलब खाली योगा था.
True. Yeah. So basically, I would say every body is different. I will explain you the forms of yoga, but the pick would be your tried and tested and your the form that you are resonating with. So first the base is Hatha Yoga, where Hatha Yoga is the मैं बोलूँगी वो father है yoga का. And then people started evolving the form of yoga. So there is Iyengar form of yoga, which uses props. Then there is Sivananda yoga, which is a particular series that they follow usually. That is called Sivananda yoga. Then there is Bikram yoga. Bikram yoga is only 11 or maybe 21 forms of yoga, but they're doing it repetitive. Then there is Vinyasa yoga. Vinyasa is again a flow of yoga. You just continuously have to keep on moving your body in a flow. That's called Vinyasa yoga. There is Ashtanga yoga again. So that's also has a same flow kind of a thing, which is continuously you're just doing it for 40-45 minutes, depending on your capacity. So that's also a very, I would say, a rigorous form of yoga. But yes, I would personally tell people that Iyengar form of yoga just looks into your alignment in the posture. So all the asanas are to be conducted in such a way that your body is aligned in such a way that you get benefit instead of damaging. As I rightly told before also, I've damaged myself in yoga and I've healed myself in yoga. So that's how I got into Hatha yoga. From Hatha yoga, I damaged myself somewhere, which was maybe the form was not right. Maybe I don't know. Probably the teacher was also not knowing about it. And then I found a younger form of yoga where I've just benefited out of it. Because they give you a prop which helps you get into the pose in a much better way. And to get into the pose to the final stage, they are not in a hurry. They always tell you respect your body, listen to your body first and foremost. I mean, if you don't listen to your body saying, I can't do it, but you just want to push it. And when you push it, you get something different than what you're supposed to get from that. So usually all of these forms you have to try yourself, that which form are you enjoying actually, and then take a call that I'll do this form of yoga now further on.
Trying is totally, really gonna help. And when I started my journey with yoga, I was really in doubt कि मैं कर भी पाऊंगा कि नहीं. But thanks to the yoga trainer who guided me and helped me achieve, it was during the post first wave of COVID in the year 2021. I started my yoga practice, and to be honest, एक सूर्य नमस्कार नहीं हो पाता था उस टाइम पे. By the end of it, in overall 10 months का regular practice किया था मैंने योगा का, because that was the time I was at home. I didn't have to travel, and I was doing 3 days in a week. So वो एक consistency भी build हो गई थी उस वजह से ना, कि daily नहीं करना है, but हाँ 3 दिन हफ्ते में वो 1 घंटा अपने लिए निकाल सकते हैं. So I used to take out that 1 hour for myself. And by the end of 10 months, I was able to do around 64 Surya Namaskars in just 1 hour. And
Wonderful.
It really energized me. The day I used to have yoga practice, that day just went like totally energetic, totally on top of all the things, better focused, better concentration. So I was able to start the practice of yoga because I had people to guide me. I was already in the journey of building Aanya Wellness, and I was talking to yoga trainers every day, in and out. But for our listeners, what should be some of the fundamental tips and practices that they should embrace to start their journey towards their well-being with yoga?
Okay, so first and foremost, you have to be sure that you want to do yoga. You want to make that lifestyle change in yourself. You're going to be consistent with it. So once you take that oath for yourself that I want to transform myself and get into it, and you will be able to do it. So when you practice yoga, what you can expect from yoga? As rightly said by Pulkit, that my strength increased, flexibility increases, your mental status, for sure there'll be a change. So I have my student who's actually herself is a doctor, but then she feels very low by end of the day. She just approached me, she joined me, and she says that my whole day goes so energetic after practicing yoga that by end of the day, I can at least talk with my husband for quite good time. So he's also happy that I'm practicing. In fact, he makes me get up. Boss, get up, your yoga session is there. So that's the transformation that I've seen in my students, that the energy level goes to another level. And since you're so energetic, you can perform your task in a much better way. I mean, you're so quick with doing it because you're not so drained out during the day. You feel that, yes, I have yet more energy to do the things more faster. So that's what usually I've seen people having a different change in them.
I totally resonate with this, Sonali, what you just shared. A lot of my friends and our customers often reach out to us saying कि यार टाइम नहीं है योगा के लिए, कैसे करें, ट्रैवल करना है या ऑफिस जाना है, घर पे इतने सारे काम हैं. With a lot of ladies, this is an issue कि ऑफिस भी मैनेज करना है, घर भी मैनेज करना है. And with gents, again, traveling to their offices, it's a problem. But I would say कि if you can find just 3 hours in a week for yourself, 1 hour on a single day, it really helps. There's no excuse to lead a healthier lifestyle. It's for your own benefit. You're going to office. If you practice yoga, you will have a much more healthier and more focused approach towards your work, be it a household work or your office work. And my question gets into this more, constructs into where we often talk about stress, anxiety. Even in our past 2 episodes, we talked about how pranayama and meditation help in managing stress and improving mental health. Now let's understand the mechanisms behind this and how yoga helps us in achieving, better mental health and better management of stress.
So certainly I'll just explain this in a little scientific way. So when you perform pranayama, so there is lots of more of oxygen to your brain, as a result of which your parasympathetic nervous system gets activated, which is a hormone which helps in balancing, calming your mind during pranayama when you're calming your mind. And during asana practices. So when we do asana practice, we hold the pose for a longer time. Say if it's just one pose, at least 10 counts a teacher would guide. When you stay there in for a longer time, what happens? Just think about a water pipe carrying water, and if you just hold it from both the sides, the water would not flow from the pipe, right? And when you open up your hands and you allow the flow to pass by, it gushes with more force. So same thing happens in your body too when you hold a posture, a asana for a longer time. So all the blood vessels carrying the blood would get stopped when you are holding the asana. But when you release the pose, it just gushes. As a result, जो भी साइड ऑफ द लाइनिंग में ब्लड कैपिलरी के लाइनिंग में जहां पे भी कुछ भी कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड या फिर टॉक्सिक थिंग कलेक्ट हुआ होगा, वो वहां से झट से निकलेगा. सो व्हेन यू जस्ट इमेजिन व्हेन यू आर performing asana, you're getting this benefit. When you are performing pranayama, this is the benefit. And when you're performing meditation, it just de-stresses your system. So all of these three things, three yoga practices, leads to a healthy, happier human being, which people would love to be with them, because there is a transformation, positive transformation in yourself, and as a result of which people around would also be positive with you because you're spreading positivity. So just imagine, just by performing 1 hour of yoga can transform your life 360. So everybody should perform yoga for sure.
There's no denying to that, Sonali, that everybody should practice yoga. And you rightly touched upon the transformation it brings in. I've seen the transformation in myself. I've seen transformation in my mother, and I've seen transformation in a lot of friends who have practiced yoga. So I had, one of my colleagues practicing yoga with me during 2021, and I could see his transformation as well. He is one of the senior executives at one of the big fours, and he had body flexibility issues. He was not able to bend down completely. But by the end of it, with the consistency, he was more regular and consistent than I myself was. And he was able to completely bend down after that. He was able to touch his toes. When he started, he was able to just get his hands till his knees. So the body transformation happens. Now, you have been a yoga trainer for good 3+ years. Can you share some inspiring story or transformation stories that you have witnessed with your customers or with your students?
Yeah, so I would. I have a lady who's 60 years old, and she had a camel hunch, I would say. She had a hunch posture. So with consistent practice of yoga, she could rectify that, and her energies level were X level. So people were just amazed that is she 60 years old? So much of change. I mean, there was so much of energy in her. She's working. I mean, she's a full-time office goer woman. So at this age, there was change in her posture, there was change in her energy levels, and always spreading positivity. So this is one of my student. And the other one, he used to be very, very depressing and used to be very anxious also. But then see, you have to be consistent. So this guy was consistent for a year. He understood how to apply the techniques, and he came out of that anxiety and depression bout on his own, on the mat itself. So you have to be, the key is to be consistent to get the change. These are just few examples of my students. There are so many more like that. So many more like that. So there was one more student who's lost so much of weight, where she was struggling a lot and she had flexibility issues. She could not even walk properly. But after consistently practicing with me, she can now walk very nicely because she strengthened her muscle. Those muscles were not used before. That's the reason she was having that issue. But the moment she started showing up on the mat, working out regularly, she found that change in her and she's so happy. In fact, when I visit to her place, she's a good friend of mine. Those people, they come to me, family members come to me, you've got her at this stage. We are so thankful to you. I mean, that really touches, that yes, I could bring that small change in somebody's life. I usually used to, I thank God for that you've given me this path to make difference in people's lives.
Thanks a lot, Sonali, for sharing these amazing, inspiring stories with our listeners. So, Sonali, thanks a lot for coming on to our podcast and helping us learn about yoga, meditation, and pranayama. Any parting words of wisdom for our listeners?
I would just say yoga se hi hoga.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Thanks a lot, Sonali. And listeners, you know the drill. Feel free to comment or DM us your queries. We're more than happy to answer. Thank you.